I don't run sealed rooms. Nope. Sealed rooms with CO2 is not a good idea. When you run a sealed room and you're dropping CO2, it all settles on the floor. It doesn't matter what kind of fan you have, you're not going to pick CO2 up off the floor. It's just going to pick up the ambient air around the CO2, and you're going to drown your root system in CO2. So really, if you're running CO2, you just want to have emitters on top of your hoods or on top of your lights, right? You want to have the CO2 raining down from laser perforated drip lines, basically, right? So laser perforated gas lines that line up, you run them over the top of your hoods, keep that shit going, and yeah, fuck a sealed room. I fresh air exchange all day long, and you will absolutely see the benefits of CO2. And that's where I turn, like, you know, I see these fucking idiots that are like, I'll run it to 1500 ppms. I'm like, where are you measuring that? And they're like, well, I'm measuring it like just about the canopy. I'm like, okay, so that means the root zone is probably sitting somewhere around 3000, and that the top of the canopy, like above it, is just failing, right? There's nothing there. So it's much better to do a slow, constant feed of CO2 that's raining down on your plants than to do these saturations and then back off, and saturations and back off, especially considering you have a 1-point meter. And that meter is not reading the toxic levels of CO2 that's flooding the root zone. So, you know, there's a lot of little things that people don't think about. And having a CO2-rich environment flood your roots is never beneficial. That's not the way it works on Earth, right? Like, CO2 levels definitely, like, with volcanic movement and certain things and water pressure and steam, they can be slightly brought back up. But again, the reason the volcano areas are so green is they are always emitting CO2. They're constantly, even if it's like, you know, like Mount St. Helens and it's capped, it's still got heavy, like it's dangerous to hike volcanoes for that reason. So, like the guy in front of me that's just hell-bent on driving 35 in a 45. I'll never understand it, dude. I'll never, ever, ever, ever understand these people. It's like they get off going slow, and they know that they're going under the speed limit, and that's just their pleasure. They're like, nah, I'm just going to drive slow today. Torch, what's up? So yeah, I only run fresh air exchange, and I used to put my charcoal filters on the ceiling because it would help us exhaust heat, and then I realized that, like, I was actually fucking up my plants. And so in the rooms that we can, we'll actually lay a CO2 or a charcoal filter in the middle of the room on the ground. If it doesn't fuck up your work, then, and if it does, if it's in the way, then we'll run one at each side of the room vertically. But I mean, you know, the CO2 that's fallen to the floor, you will not recover. It's like this whole concept of lighting a plant from below. If plants were supposed to be lit from below, they would have matching leaf texture on the bottom. Like, the bottom of the leaf has a totally different function than the top of the leaf. And anybody that thinks they're doing their plants justice by putting under canopy lights is a fucking retard. It's just, you know, again, that's not biomimicry. It doesn't do any fucking buddy any justice. All you're doing is producing more shitty weed, and you're encouraging growth in a high moisture, low air movement area. Just dumb as dog shit, man. Dumb as dog shit. So we want to do things that, like, cause us to mimic nature. And you know, part of the reason we strip our plants up so high in flower and inside is because our sun is at high noon all day. Outside, they try to umbrella the plant, so they just leave a big bush, but like nothing on the inside, because the sun gives that 130-degree motion over the face of the earth, right? So, praise God for a localized light source, huh?